As early as this summer, we could see a number of marine traffic communication centers shut down along the BC coast, seriously diminishing the presence of Coast Guards on major waterways. Federal NDP Fisheries and Oceans Deputy Critic Finn Donnelly is calling for the Conservative government to stop these closures. He's joining us now from our newsroom. Thanks so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
All right, so just give us an understanding of currently how many marine traffic communication centers we actually have along the coastline.
Right now on the coast of British Columbia, we have 5 MCTS stations, which include Vancouver, Comox, and Ucluelet, as well as Victoria and Prince Rupert. So the plan in the so-called the Conservatives' modernization plan is to reduce, basically close 3 centers, including Vancouver. And when they do that in Vancouver, that would see the elimination of the Coast Guard presence in the entire city of Vancouver. This closure would also take from 5 stations down to 2, and places like Ucluelet, where they had an incident just last week with 4 sailors, 4 fishermen, where the ship sank, and luckily the Coast Guard was listening to the VHF. They were able to respond. When this happens, you're going to have to rely on automated services and their what they call their in-nav, their system. And apparently they've been having troubles with this system for over 8 years. And this system is the first detection, and if it goes down, what apparently managers are telling officers is to use post-it notes. So this is the world-class system that the Conservatives are referring to.
What is it going to mean with just 2 centers along the coast?
Well, as I mentioned, you'll have no presence in Vancouver, which is the busiest port in the country, no presence from the Coast Guard. And it'll just mean you're putting lives at risk. You're putting the lives of mariners, whether you're on a ferry, a tugboat, fishing, recreation. I mean, British Columbians and Canadians use the West Coast all the time, whether it's shipping or recreation. It's a very attractive place to be out on the water. We do have emergencies and we do have accidents, and the Coast Guard there is able and capable, when it has the resources, to respond. You're going to reduce that capability, and you're going to put lives at risk with this plan.
And is it a similar situation on the East Coast? Are we seeing just as many centers being shut down there as well?
You are seeing a reduction. You're seeing a consolidation on the East Coast. However, they're reducing, their capability will still be larger than ours, even though we have over 50% of the traffic on the West Coast. They will have more centers than we will end up with this plan if it goes forward on the West Coast. So it's certainly a plan that's happening. It's a pattern that the Conservatives are using, whether it's oil spill response, Coast Guard, MCTS stations, or fisheries offices. They are closing stations and centers right across the country on both coasts.
All right. Now I just want to switch gears a bit of a lighter issue here with Winnipeg MP, one of your colleagues, making some news around the world for something that he said. We're going to take a listen to what Pat Martin was, when he was asked to explain why he walked out before voting was over on a motion in the House of Commons. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I realize I did inadvertently leave my seat briefly in the middle of the debate. I can blame it on a sale that was out down at the Hudson's Bay. They had men's underwear on for half price, and I bought a bunch that was clearly too small for me, and I find it difficult to sit for any length of time, Mr. Speaker, so I apologize if it was necessary for me to leave my seat briefly.
I mean, you have a smile on your face right now.
That is classic Pat Martin.
I mean, what were you thinking when those words were coming out of his mouth? He shared certainly a lot more details than anyone was expecting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's so classic Pat Martin. He's quick on his feet, and he did leave his seat briefly, which you can't do for a vote. And he didn't walk out. He just stood up and walked a few steps and then realized he needed to sit back down before the vote completed. But came up with that quip and provided a fair amount of levity in the House of Commons.
Yeah, always
and
nice.
Obviously around the world.
Yeah, obviously nice to have some laughs in the House of Commons. That is Finn Donnelly joining us today. Finn, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.